Welcome to Techstination. We're at the Out of Oregon Landscape Photography Conference created by Out of Chicago. And with me is Gavin Hardcastle. Thanks for joining me, Gavin.
Well, hello, it's my pleasure to be on.
And we are looking out a big picture window at some beautiful light on the ocean.
Yeah, we've just had 2 awful days of weather, and now that we've cancelled all of the workshops, the weather's just opened up and we've got perfect conditions. That's perfect. Typical.
Tell us what you took away from this conference here. What some of the key things were. You've been working with groups of students going to various locations. I was lucky enough to tag along. Yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, I think what I took away for myself was that I absolutely, look at that wave, I absolutely love photographing waves now. This is a whole new thing for me. I've never actually shot waves as big as this. These are absolutely, look at the size of that. So now I've discovered a new passion. So I'm super excited about that. But it was really good because I got to be with a whole bunch of participants while they also experienced that same new phenomenon. So we've kind of like experienced this birth of a new addiction all at the same time, and it was brilliant.
And that comes from somebody who I believe lives on Vancouver Island?
Yeah, I mean, we do get big waves maybe for like 1 week of the year, maybe 2 weeks. But you've really got to be, every time it happens, I'm not in the country. I'm out traveling somewhere, so I miss it. So this is the first time I've seen big waves like this, and oh man, it's really powerful and exciting.
I've been talking to some of your fellow photographers about their journey to becoming a professional photographer. Yeah. And you've got an interesting one. You had a whole other life before this.
Yeah.
As a music producer.
So I was a music producer for 20 years, and while I did love it for a long time, and I was very lucky to have a career that I loved, eventually, if you do something a lot over and over and over again, it is, it's possible to eventually fall out of love of that particular passion, and especially if you're getting gradually more and more addicted to a new passion. And I guess that's what happened with photography. It just eventually took over, and and I used to have to write music on command. It was something that I would have to do as my job. And so I think when you have to do something as like when it's not necessarily something that you're doing because you love it anymore, it's something that you're doing because there's an expectation of you, and it's perhaps doing something in a different way, you kind of lose the love for it. So for me, I started to lose my love for music creation. Just at the same time as I was, my love for photography was starting to build up.
How did that start? How did your love for photography build? How'd you get into it to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, I've told this story so many times, but I guess I got into photography accidentally through movies, watching movies, and especially movies in the 70s and the 80s where cinematography featured lots of landscapes. Like if you look at movies by people like Steven Spielberg, those movies, and like George Lucas, even things like Star Wars, if you look at those things. So I grew up as a kid watching Star Wars, right? The whole film is landscapes. It's these epic landscapes of deserts and amazing scenery. So whether I realized it or not, I was absorbing beautiful landscapes and beautiful cinematography. And I always loved it. I always loved seeing beautiful pictures. I always loved seeing amazing videos and cinematography. But I never believed that I would ever have the chance to do it. And then when digital photography got to where it was, round about 2010, and people were able to produce that look very, very affordably, on very affordable equipment, that was my time to get in. And so in 2010, I splashed out on a bit of, actually 2008, I bought a DSLR. It was a Nikon D5. And from that point on, it was just a gradual build-up, and now I'm totally hooked.
And then you walked away from the music producing career. But there is, I've found in talking to other photographers, there are a lot of them who are musicians, who play instruments and have taught, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, last night we were up in the presidential suite with Chris Smith, the guy who runs this whole conference, and we were having a bit of a party and loads of drinks, but most of them were...
I saw those beer bottles.
Quite a few of us are musicians, and so we were all jamming and singing songs and murdering songs quite badly, because we were not entirely sober. But yeah, I think it's part of that creative soul. It's that creative spirit. You know, if you're an artist of any kind, I believe that talent is transferable. So if you are a musician, I think it's a totally natural progression to go from, you know, being a musician to a writer, to a photographer, to a painter, to a movie maker. You know, even like dance, you could say, like, you know, dance is an art form, and it requires artistic talent and creativity. And I think that can be transferred to any other sphere if you have the time and the energy and the physical ability to do it. Like, I mean, dance, it's not like I'm ever going to be a dancer, right? But I can hold a camera, I can turn those dials, right? So I think your talent is your talent, and it's up to you how you direct it.
And where do you think you are on this journey in photography? You had the journey through music.
Yeah. Do you know, that's actually a really good question. I think my journey in photography, I still see myself as a bit of a novice, you know?
Really?
Yeah, because even though I teach people, every time I go out with students, there's always somebody that shows me something that they saw that I didn't see that way, and I'm always blown away with how they saw it. So I learn a lot from teaching because I'm exposed to all of these different cameras and different camera systems and different lenses, and a lot of photography is linked to your equipment, right? So I don't have all of the equipment, but if you teach enough people, you get to see all of the possible configurations of equipment being used out in the field, perhaps in ways that you never envisaged. So as an instructor, it's kind of a pretty cool thing to see how other people see. So that's why I say, you know, I'm a novice until I've seen every possible configuration of every possible view.
Which is kind of impossible.
It's impossible. So you're always going to be learning, right? You know, you might reach a point where you think you're a master, but then someone else posts a picture that is so spectacular that you're like, how are they so talented? How can they do? That's just, I can't even comprehend how good that is, you know? So that's why you kind of stay humble, you know, like you know when you get a killer shot, you know when you've captured a fantastic image and you post it and you're like, yeah, I'm proud of that. But at the same time, it doesn't take long before someone else posts something that's like, wow, that's way better than mine.
And there seems to be a kindred spirit of sorts among the, at least among the people here, in what one might assume would be a very competitive field.
See, this is the thing about, this is why I love YouTube, right? Because ever since I started doing YouTube, I feel like before I was making films, and I was just like a solo photographer going out on my own and just getting pictures, that there is kind of an element of competition and hardly any element of collaboration. But as soon as I started making films and doing videos, all of a sudden you get these opportunities to work with other filmmakers and photographers, often more talented than I'll ever be, and you learn from them, and you have this collaboration, and it's like, wow, like every time I do something with Michael Shainbloom, well, that guy puts me to shame. Like, we go out there, and he sees things that I don't see, so he'll film little B-roll clips, you know, that are, I wouldn't even look at things that way. So I'll look over at what Michael's doing, and I think, he's just cleaning his lens. But no, he's actually filming handheld some berries or some leaves, and he's shifting focus from foreground to background, and it takes him seconds. But those few seconds that he takes out yield beautiful results that, you know, you get to see later on, like a month later, and you're like, oh, why didn't I do that, you know? So the collaboration thing it's an eye-opener, and it's very, very powerful way to also network, but also to learn and improve as a photographer. It keeps you humble, right? Because you can't get a big head when you're hanging around with people like Michael Shainbloom and Nick Page and Sean Bagshaw, you know, and they might have been stood next to you, and then you think you've got a killer image, but then you see theirs, and it's like, oh man, perhaps I'm not that good, you know. But yeah, the collaborations far outweigh the competitive side of it, I think.
And on that YouTube channel, I'll let you tell us where people can find it. You're, beyond being a photographer and teacher, you're a real entertainer. You have fun with this.
I do have a lot of fun with it, and I never anticipated that this would be a side effect of what I do. I really only started doing the videos just to try and sell my workshops, you know, and it quickly became its own thing, and it evolved into something that I get great enjoyment out of. And I don't know where it's
Photo Tripper with an F?
Yeah, Photo Tripper with an F. And I don't know where it's going to go, you know, but I really do enjoy doing this. So I honestly think if I could continue to do this for the rest of my life, then I would be a very happy photo tripper.
Cool. Where else can people find you, Gavin?
Phototripper.com, that's with an F, obviously. Just Google my name, Gavin Hardcastle, and you'll find all of my work. It'll be all over the place. It'll be on Flickr or on my website or on Facebook. And of course, YouTube. That's where a lot of my work goes now.
Well, Gavin, thanks for the instruction here, and thanks for being with us.
Thanks for the invite. It was a good interview. I enjoyed it.
Cooking with the Power of the Sun. Hi, I'm Fred Fishkin, here to tell you about the latest innovation from my friend Patrick Sherwin and his great team at GoSun Stove. The GoSun Fusion has arrived using the company's tried and true reflectors and a solar vacuum tube to get you cooking without the mess of charcoal, heavy propane tanks, or smoke. A really bright idea. And with an optional solar panel and battery storage and the ability to plug in at home or on the road, you really can use the GoSun Fusion to cook anytime and anywhere, day or night, rain or shine. I love what Patrick and his team are doing, and so will you. Want to learn more? Head to gosun.co to check out all of the company's products and innovations, and use the code Techstination to save 10%. That's gosun.co.